What's up, motherfuckers? I'm analyzing some of the best game of the career of Daniel Naroditsky. In the previous video, I analyzed his first game against a top master, who he played Boris Spassky in a simultaneous exhibition with only 8 years. And 3 years later, I'm going to show us the victory that he gave Daniel the under 12 World Championship. So in the last round, he played against Idani Pouya, who now he's a great grandmaster with 26 rating, and with only 12 years, these two masters face in the last round of the under 20 World Championship. So let's show us the game. The both players only have like 11 years and 12 years in this moment. Okay, now this open with knight f3, d5, g3. It's interesting that 3 years ago, when Naroditsky have no rating, and he's playing like bad games against Spassky, he played a bad game against Spassky, and only 3 years later, with 11 years, sorry, he have a 21 rating. He goes from zero rating to 21 in only 3 years. Incredible. Okay, let's analyze the game. Knight f3, d5. Now Naroditsky selects a fianchetto. The ready opening, g3, knight f6, bishop d2, c6 or castle, and Poe just chose the move bishop g4. Who, okay, it's a normal move. Many players employ. I'm not a huge fan of this move, but okay, well analyzed, it's fine. But I'm not the huge fan of bishop g4, to be true. But okay, it's a good move. And I employed in the past d3, knight bd7, knight bd2, and now good move. Danny Pouya takes the control of the center with e5. And of course, Naroditsky wants the center too, and he plays e4. If not, black is playing e5 instead. So we'll move e4. Sorry, taking the fighting for the control of the center. Okay, e4. He takes, and here Irani plays the bishop in a not his best square. Now the best square for the bishop was just e7. And the a5 pawn is not going to suffer. You can just defend the a5 pawn with just queen 7 someday, and the a5 pawn is completely safe. But Idani plays the bishop on d6, which is not the best square. The bishop is just better on e7 and apart. On e7 is going in only one tempo. On d6, you are going to lose another tempo after some nice e4, and you are going to place the bishop on c7 in two tempo, which is not best on than on e7, and apart you need two tempo. So the bishop is just better placed on e7, just covering this diagonal, because the bishop on c7 was a little bit close by this pawn. Okay, it's definitely bad. It's better to just play the bishop on e7 and defend with the queen on c7. But okay, bishop b6. Here now his best response was just attack directly the bishop and then go to 93, attacking both bishops. But okay, instead of that he goes with c3. The problem is that this gives enough tempo for to black to finish the development. Knight c4, bishop c7, and queen c2, and now bishop e6. Very good move, attacking the knight. Knight e3, and good move to h6, because now white is threatening knight e5 and take the bishop. So good move h6, covering that. Now I like the black position. I like the position who Vidani reads here. I realize now that Danny Pouya is not Pouya is his name and Danny his surname, but okay, doesn't care. Okay, and now after a6, Naroditsky made a good plan, going for the f5 square and trying to land a knight there on h5 with the move knight h4. Especially after some h6 was too typical to reach the f5 square, because now the f5 square are weaker, because g6 is going to be harder to play. Okay, g6, c4, and now it came the first mistake of the game, and the first proof that there are kids who are playing the game. Who is rook c8? I don't understand this move of Pouya. Okay, he wants to develop the rook, of course, but it's a very strange move, of develop the rook, because the rook on c8 is not making nothing. It's the same to have the rook on c8 or the rook on a8. This is not a square for the rook. You can place this rook on the 8 maybe. Of course, maybe he doesn't like to play queen e7, because he know that maybe if some knight f5 or knight d5 is coming, or with the other knight, some f5, knight f5 or knight d5 is coming, and he doesn't want to place the queen on e7 for that. Maybe he have The idea of rook c8, I can understand that could be after some knight here, have the rook on the same file of the queen. I am starting to understand that this could be the Idani idea. Okay, I'm going to accept that move, but it's not good. Just a5 or bishop b6 was better, because just the bishop on c7 is bad place. So just improve the bishop or just take a space in the king side. Rook c8. After here, Naroditsky had this very good move, knight 8, f5. He made he landed the other knight on f5, and okay, we're going to see why this is worse. That's the correct knight. Okay, if g takes just it takes f5 and the bishop is trapped on e6. And apart, the black king is open, so white is close to the queen. So, but the huge difference is that after bishop takes f5, it takes f5, g5. Here the knight is so so well placed on on e3. And apart, you are not losing a tempo. The problem is that after now this moves knight ef5, after bishop takes, e takes. Okay, I know that he wants to open the bishop as fast as possible. The c1 bishop, of course. But mm, the problem is that after bishop f5, it takes e5. Now the knight is placed on f3. Sorry, and apart the black have won a tempo just attacking the knight. So, but apart that the knight is worse placed on f3 than on e3. Here is closing the bishop. I don't like the knight here. And knight d5 was another possibility, but okay. I don't like here knight f5. Knight d5. Okay, it's a typical tactic that this is in this position because the bishop will be more or less trapped on sorry on e6, but here I think that doesn't work because I can just take here and here I don't know, maybe just bishop d4 or something, and I think or just move the bishop first and then bishop d4. One idea could be take with the pawn to then sacrifice the knight on g6, but okay, knight h5 was the best move. Okay, knight e5, and Irani reacts so well. Bishop takes, pawn takes d5. This game, okay, is played by the 12 years old kids, but they have a very good level because there is a so complicated position all the time, and okay, both players made mistake because but they made many good moves. Knight f3. Here he played rook e8 to prepare e4, but e4 directly was great. Knight e2 and now e3. Just sacrifice this pawn. Of course, it's difficult to make that, but just queen e7 and the machine say that black have very good compensation. That's okay. Now bishop b6 is coming, and knight d4 and black have his counterplay. But okay, yeah, I understand the Irani move. Rook e8 was the most natural move of the position. And now 92 was stronger, just covering e4 and not allowing e4. He plays rook d1, queen e7, h4. And now, okay, e4 was good, but g takes h4 was another interesting option here. Knight takes and now e4. Bishop takes, knight d4 requires a huge calculation. f6, knight d takes, queen c1, king e7, bishop e3. And okay, black is slightly better. Sorry. Okay, instead of that, Irani plays e4, who is good too. He takes f3. In this part, both players start to play so well. He takes f3, g takes f6, queen e2. Very good move of Pouya, putting pressure. Rook d2, well, of response of Naroditsky, queen e1, bishop f1. And now Irani sacrifice bishop take g3. Okay, it's an interesting option. I'm not going to criticize this move because it's so interesting, this sacrifice. But just knight f6 is just better. Okay, white have a difficult task here. It's not easy to move the pieces with white and continue and yes, and finish the development. But okay, bishop h3 was so interesting for a game. Puts white many problems. But here, Naroditsky reacts with the best move, with the refutation of bishop take d3, with rook d1. That's the best move here. Very good defense of Naroditsky. Because okay, yeah, the kids used to attack more or less well, but the defensive task used to be hard so for the kids. So very good move by Naroditsky. Here rook d7 here doesn't work because just well rook e2 and here I have this tactic of bishop e3. But okay, this doesn't work. A rook d7, just rook e2 example, but the problem of bishop e3 is that here bishop f2 and counter tactic. Okay, both queen are hanging, but just bishop f2 is winning. And f takes doesn't work because just queen takes and rook e1. And black is winning, so very good defense by Naroditsky, rook d1. Now, very good response of Pouya with queen e3, still attacking g3 if white capture, rook d7. Finally, now that's the moment to take the knight once that the queen goes out of e1. Bishop e2 will move, king is1, and now again another very good move, queen f6. And I suppose that the idea of this move is that you are freeing the a5 for the rook, and then you are coming to h4 with the queen. For that reason, Naroditsky should have taken just the bishop, queen h4, bishop h3, queen e2, and here he had a good move who could be difficult for a kid, because of course the young player have always in his mind that the queen is the most powerful piece, and always that the opponents attack your king, you are going to think about move the queen. Simply, it's the most logical way to think. But here he had two bishops more than his opponent. He takes two bishops. So now he have the extra option of just take the rook. F takes and just bishop e7, and he had the two bishops for the queen. But okay, black have a extra pawn, and especially the e2 pawn, who is so dangerous. But here the position is equal. It's so difficult. Of course, rook e8, rook e1, king h8, and f6, and the machine say that the position is equal. Okay, fine. But instead of that, Naroditsky made a huge mistake. And after, okay, here it's not so easy for Pouya to find the best move. And I suppose that here they have time trouble because we are in the move 27, but the previous moves are so difficult. So I suppose that both players have spent many time in the previous move. But here he had this winning move, bishop b8. The idea is just play queen h4 and queen h4 and queen h2 checkmate. So for that reason, white should have defend with rook d4, and now rook cd8, another so difficult moves. So the sequence of find everything is not easy. Rook e4 and just move the king. Can look strange because black plan was checkmate with queen h4, and now the checkmate was different, but mm, white have no good square for place the queen. Apart, then the rook is coming to e1, and in some moments white can play or queen f5, queen h5, but especially the threat of the queen and rook e1 made that white should play queen e6 and enter in the singing where black is better. Okay, maybe bishop e8 can be more difficult, but simply move just like queen e4 is leads to a equal position. Queen here and rook e4, and now the position is equal. Instead of that, Dani Pouya made the decisive mistake of the game. Still a very good game. I really like the game who Dani Pouya was playing until here. I think that he was playing better than Naroditsky until here, but now he made a horrible blunder with rook e2. This move have no sense because the problem is that it's too slow. Half a piece down, and white is attacking too, so apart the bishop of e2 is hanging, so rook e2 is a very slowly move. And nowadays he just doesn't care about the rook, and he just take the a6 pawn, just threatening trading queens. And apart white have a piece up, and the d7 rook is hanging, and the bishop a2 is hanging, so queen e6, very good move, queen f5. And now, after bishop e2 takes and queen e5, trading queens, and after trade queens, now the rook defend on e8. So for that reason, after queen e5, Dani Pouya resigned, and this made Daniel Naroditsky to be world champion under 20. A great achievement, of course, in every chess player career. I always dream about being world champion, and I never be. So a really great achievement to Daniel Naroditsky, maybe the first of his the first important achievement of his career, of course. Years later came many more, but it was maybe his first top achievement. So I hope that you really like the game. I'm the yesterday I comment another of Boris Spassky against Naroditsky, and the next days I'm going to no I analyze all the I'm going to analyze all the videos or today or tomorrow, but I'm going to upload one is each day. And the following days, now we're going to see games of Naroditsky after he became adult and after he became grandmaster, and the games are going to have more levels. So I hope that you like the game, and I hope that you are going to see the next game. Bye bye, motherfuckers.